What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream on the Texas Rangers Report. And in this video, this is the biggest news in Texas Rangers history in a while, probably ever since the Corey Seager signing. And we have signed Jacob deGrom to a 5-year contract worth a total of $185 million. And this is insane because yes, we knew going into the offseason we were going to be big spenders again, just like last offseason when we signed Seager, Gray, and Simeon. But all the reports were saying we had interest in deGrom, and deGrom had interest in us, but it was more likely that we'd go the route of Rendon or Cody Senga. But this is amazing. Like, we have our number one guy, we have our ace. It doesn't, with this signing, it doesn't matter that the Astros signed Jose Abreu. I'm taking Jacob deGrom all the time that match him. However, I mean, obviously Jose Abreu is a good player. Don't get me wrong there, but we'll break that down this intently. So what are the pros and what are the cons? So the pros, obviously, we have an ace in the staff because yes, Martin Perez pitched well last year. I think he will regress a little bit, but I still think he'll be solid regardless. But we have an undeniable ace. I would say the best pitcher on the entire planet, which is really crazy, and he is going to create a lot of buzz around opening day. He's going to get people in the stands as well. And this is a guy you can go out and say, go win this playoff game. So this is exciting, and you know that this is going to be a great pair with new pitching coach Mike Maddox, as well as current or new manager Bruce Bochy. I feel like this is a match made in heaven for all of these guys. And yes, Jacob deGrom does have injuries. He has those injury issues, but we have to be thinking. We have to catch up to the Astros somehow. The Rangers haven't had the best success of developing their own pitchers. I do think that will start to turn around in the near future, hopefully, with the likes of Rocker, and I think Leiter will turn it around next season. But we want to start competing, and look at the Philadelphia Phillies. With the new playoff format, if you get in, anything could happen. And look at what the Braves did last year. I know that wasn't, or 2 years prior. I know that wasn't under this new playoff format, but it still shows if you get to the playoffs, things can happen. And I would pick a healthy Jacob deGrom over any other facing against any batter in the league. I would take that 100% of the time. And breaking down his contract, it's extremely interesting how Chris Young negotiated this. And keep in mind, Jacob deGrom turned down a contract with the New York Mets. And every beat reporter, for some reason, keeps having the Rangers as an underdog. I don't feel like they really see what we're building here. And that's why I feel like the signing of Jacob deGrom was a shock. I really don't think it was a shock. I think it was more excitement. But to like Jacob deGrom to the Rangers, it's like, bro, have you been following the transactions that have been developing? We go out and sign money last offseason. I mean, we go sign players for big bucks last offseason. We have an up-and-coming farm system. We go out and sign Bruce Bochy, and then the others say we're going to go spend some more. Bruce Bochy's not coming out of retirement to have John Gray as the ace. But it's not a shock for me, but I thought Carlos Rendon was going to be the option. This is exciting. But if you look at the money, it's $185 million over 5 years. I'm okay with that. Yes, he's injury prone. But if you look at his injuries, it's been like little injuries over the course of the season, with the exception of this year. He obviously Jacob deGrom did miss a lot of time this year. But if you look at the money, like I keep on saying, it's $30 million on the books this year, which that's huge because you can go out and sign maybe a lesser pitcher like Jamison Taillon, or maybe the Rangers want to go spend more money and sign Carlos Rendon or Cody Senga. There's no qualifying offer attached to Cody Senga, so that would be interesting. But then it does jump up to $40 million for the 2024 and 2025 season. But you do have to remember, you can still sign a guy like Senga or Rendon because Martin Perez's contract will be off the books. And then the contract drops down to $37 million, but once you get to 2027, that's when it drops down to 37. Like, how can you really be forecasting that long in the future? But I really think that 30 million says something about what the Rangers are going to do. And this is no surprise. Every single Rangers fan knows this is what we needed. I don't think we're done. I really like the WAR stat and wins above replacement, and our pitching staff as a whole last season had a WAR around 5, and that's honestly pathetic. I think if you want like a solid rotation in the MLB, that is around like a 15 to a 13. So obviously keeping Martin Perez helps. I do think his WAR will go down a bit. And then Jacob deGrom is projected to have around a 5 WAR season. We all know that the season he got hurt, he was on pace to be like the MVP, which is crazy. But he has had a double-digit WAR season in the past. But I do think it'll be around the 5 to 6, and we'll see how the innings get managed with his injury history. And I do think Jon Gray as like being a little bit underrated, but I do really like Jon Gray because when he was healthy, he was really productive last year, and his baseball savant metrics show good things. I see your comment about Jake Odorizzi. He is an option, but I still have him as my 5th option. You still have Dane Dunning, but we definitely have 3 pitchers that will be pitching for the Rangers next year, and we have the money to go out and sign somebody else. We also have the depth to go and make a trade. On MLB Trade Rumors, it says teams were interested in Ezekiel Duran and Josh Smith in trades. What could that mean? I don't think the Rangers would be using that to trade for a position player. They could be, but for the most part, they're locked in at most positions besides, I'd say, the DH, but most times teams just platoon the DH position and left field and center field. I don't think Leody has that locked down. Maybe there's a trade for Brian Reynolds. That could be something we look out for. But I think it'd probably be something along the lines of Pablo Lopez or maybe Brandon Woodruff, because it seems like the Milwaukee Brewers are kind of having a retool / fire sell. It's not really a fire sell because I think they're still trying to retool / compete, but we know how that retool eventually ends up going. Let me get to some of these comments. I thank you all for tuning in. I know it's been a while since I've done content on the Rangers. Just college is crazy, and you just have to get used to the flow of things. But I'm back. I'm back today, but I really do want to start continuing to post more content. From Sean McNally, I no doubt we would sign a high-end guy. I knew there was no way Boshi would sign with us without a big promise. Didn't expect this, though. Understand the downside, but this is 100% positive. I agree. I do think all the signs were. We as Rangers fans, we all knew this. I think the big media is still shocked out of their minds, and the New York Mets fans are a little salty, but I really don't care. We have the best pitcher on the planet, and opening day, I'm sorry, my finger was in the way. Opening day will be a treat to watch. Because most likely Jacob deGrom will be the better pitcher. Our offense is decent, and there are reports that the Rangers are interested in Mitch Haniger. Although there is a lot of teams interested in Mitch Haniger, it'll be interesting to see how the offseason progresses because we are getting closer to the winter meetings. Mark your calendars. Winter meetings are December 4th, so make sure you have that going. And if you guys are newbie fans, that's winter meetings is usually when stuff goes down in the MLB. So it's kind of crazy that the Rangers kind of got this before the winter meetings, but I'm going insane. I'm still shook. Me too. I was actually at a basketball game for my college, and my phone was on like 2%. I saw it. I was like, no way. I was actually a little bit more shocked when Seager signed last year because I like Sean was saying, I knew we were gonna sign a guy. I didn't know it'd be deGrom. I think it's just awesome. But last year when the Rangers said we were gonna spend, you didn't really know what they meant by that. But this year we knew that we were gonna be looking at high end talent. So it's for me, it's not really a shocker. It's just like, let's go. We got him. Let's see. Predicting the Rodon signing tomorrow. Uh, I feel like we should try a six-man rotation. We have two injury-prone pitchers. Trade for Lopez and sign Ross Stripling. deGrom, Lopez, Gray, Perez, Stripling. Let's see. deGrom, Pablo Lopez, John Gray, Martin Perez, Stripling. Who's the other guy? Is it Dunning? Oh, maybe you didn't mention another guy. It's possible. I know there was a team that did it this year. I want to say maybe it was the Astros or there was some team that did it this year. It's possible. We do have deGrom, who's injury prone. And actually, for a team whose starting pitching was terrible last year, we're starting to build some depth at the starting pitching because now the Dane Dunning, who we have all agreed, especially in the Discord, looks like he could be a serviceable fifth starter in the rotation. He may not even be in the rotation next year. I mean, if he was, I'm not going to be complaining. Maybe he's a good long reliever. But I don't necessarily think we need a six-man rotation because guys like Dunning, Glenn Otto, Cole Reagans, who knows if those two are still on the team, maybe trade candidates. But they have options. So if there were an injury to deGrom, you could just bring him up to just option them or not call him up to the major leagues. And I don't know about Ross Stripling. This has really been his best year of his career. So I wouldn't dish out a lot of money. If you're able to get a decent value contract, then maybe. However, I think he's going to command a similar contract to Jameson Taillon, and Taillon has a better track record, and he's younger. So I would go with Taillon if we were to get that type of pitcher. Oh, and then Sean McNeely says, "Oh, the Rizzy." From Samuel Sandite, I would get Cody Bellinger and Mitch Haniger at a one-year deal if possible, or maybe Josh Bell for DH. That's so. Let's see. Let's break that down. Josh, so you're saying, let's just say if we got all three of those guys, that would actually be a lot of money. Josh Bell dropped off significantly towards the second half last year. And I don't think he's worth the money that he's going to command. He's never really been higher than a two-WAR player in his career. And he's probably going to get somewhere around $13 to $15 million in average annual value. So we have a silver slugger on our team at first base. So obviously you could move Nate Lowe to first base. but that's probably I mean, you could move him to DH because he's not the best defensive first baseman, but I think signing Josh Bell to a long-term contract would actually hurt the Rangers long term because you'd be forced to play Josh Bell, and I don't think you would necessarily get the best value because you couldn't maybe not be able to get the platoons, the better platoon options. But that's just me. And then I do like Mitch Haniger. I think he'd be a good left fielder for us. He, I think you're getting for a value deal. Cody Bellinger, I think Mitch Haniger could come in around 2 years, 15 million average annual value. I have heard reports for 3 million, but I think he would be a solid signing. Um, he has been injury prone, but his injuries are a little bit freakish injuries. So just note that it's nothing like elbow injuries or anything you need to be worried about. Like I think one time he tore his his nuts or something. Um, and then Cody Bellinger, that's the one I would not go after because I think you'd be overpaying because everybody's going to be saying, what if he gets back to his old self? And that's the thing. I don't think he will get back to his old self. Maybe he shows some glimpses of being an above average hitter, but he's never really been able to hit lefties in his career. The time he was, that's when he won MVP. He still provides value on the base paths and on defense, but I think for a team that would sign him, I still think he provides value to a club, but I don't think that's what the Rangers really need. I honestly think Leody Taveras could provide a similar value as Cody Bellinger for a lot cheaper, in my opinion. From Tato, our WAR was 5 question mark. Yeah, it was pathetic because it was basically carried by so Tato was talking about the WAR of our starting pitchers, and that was carried by Martin Perez, who had about a 3.9. John Gray had 1.1, I believe. I wish I had this memory for my tests. I I store all my memory for my baseball stats. But and then the next closest was whatchamacallit, Dane Dunning at like a point 0.8, and then this gets lower and lower, and then some people are in the negatives, of course. But if you look at a team like the Astros last year, you had Justin Verlander, who had a 6 WAR, who won the Cy Young. Framber Valdez had a 4 WAR, so that's their 1, their 2. Christian Javier was a 3. Luis Garcia was around a 2. And then I'm trying to, and then probably their 5th starter was replacement level. I know it's like Jose Urquidy, or I know they had Jake Odorizzi for a bit. But those top 4 provided a lot of value. I can't believe we got deGrom. Yes. Tato. I think we signed Mitch Haniger at winter meetings. I wouldn't doubt it. Because obviously, going forth from this Jacob deGrom signing, what do the Rangers need? I think undoubtedly we still need one more starting pitcher. And then we need something in the outfield. And then maybe something to address like the DH, but I don't necessarily think you need to sign a DH if that makes sense. Like I'm not saying go dish out money for Trey Mancini or money for JD Martinez. Just something to fill that because somehow Brad Miller is still on the roster. Do the Rangers really think he's going to turn it around? I kind of just think he's holding a spot this for now, and maybe he'll get a DFA. I really don't think anybody will take him in a trade. I know 2 years ago he was a nice platoon option, but I think it's time you cut your ties, maybe just DFA Brad Miller, because right now if we look at our depth chart right now, our starting left fielder is Josh Smith, and our starting DH is Brad Miller. Do we really think that if we're trying to compete, those are the guys we want? I don't know. Josh Smith could be a trade candidate for a pitcher like Pablo Lopez or Brandon Woodruff, and then Brad Miller could be a DFA candidate. So those are positions we still need to look at as we go forth to the winter meetings, which are in 2 days, and I guess 40 minutes Central Time one day. So it's getting close to be that hot stove season. From Sean McNally, I don't know about Rendon. Definitely see Haniger though. Honestly, I'm not ruling anything out, but I do think it would make more sense to go after Cody Senga since you already dish out a lot of money to what's his face, Seager, Simeon, the deGrom, and then I think you can get Cody Senga for cheaper, and there's no qualifying offer. And I do think the Rangers would probably be willing to outspend other teams because the Rangers just have that tenacity right now, and other teams would probably just want to spend less because they're like, oh, like there's. Don't get me wrong, Senga's gonna get his money, but they're gonna be like, oh, he's not proven in the majors. He's only pitched in Japan. So this guy could be the next Yu Darvish. And we all know how that turned out. And that could be a steal to get him. He'd probably come in around a Zach Wheeler value set, maybe 5 years, 20 million average annual value. So a little less than what Rendon is projected to get, but you don't have to give up a draft pick. And the Rangers lost 2 draft picks last year for the signings, and we're going to lose another one this year for signing deGrom. So I think if we could, I really don't know if we get 2 more pitchers. I think 1 might be what we do, but Senga, if we sign 1 more, Senga should definitely be the one, in my opinion, that we look at. From Jack, let's go. The love is great. Love you, Cullen. Love you too. Love you too. King Twister 8. I am shook. I'm shaking in my chair right now. Yeah, I know. I know. The 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 buzz around the Rangers is changing. Like going into the offseason, it's like, oh, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Yankees. Like the Rangers are that team, bro. We are a big sports metro area, and we deserve the same amount of buzz as the Yankees and the Dodgers. I know they win more, but we're building. So it's nice to see this. And it's like why didn't we do this when John Daniels was the general manager? Because don't you think John Daniels wanted to sign these type of caliber free agents? Is it because Ray Davis is like, oh shoot, I might die soon. I want to see a World Series, or he's like, I want to sell the team soon, and I need to start winning. I wonder what or maybe it's like maybe John Daniels was like, oh, maybe we should just build from within, blah blah blah, and like obviously that's good. You need a combination of both, but I wonder if Chris Young is just that guy, that guy that puts you over the top. But you can't talk. Talking only does so much. We need to see the returns. How about bringing back Joey Gallo? I don't think so. I think that ship has sailed. Save him for another team. I'd love to see Cody to the Rangers. I'm guessing Cody Bellinger. From Sean McNally. Also, what's up to all my new subscribers? Thank you for finding my channel. Just so you guys know, I do post a lot of, I posted a lot of Rangers content. Just went off to college. I've stopped briefly, but I am finding time in my schedule to get back to it. From Sean, nothing is a coincidence. It's not a coincidence we are giving him only $30 million next year. It's not a coincidence we landed Boshi. It's not a coincidence that this is right before the winter meetings. Sean McNally, you might be onto something. Monique loves TR. Baseball is fun again. I hope. Yeah, watch us get this hyped, and then deGrom gets that news. Tightness in his shoulder or tightness in his elbow. It's like, oh shit, bro. It's like, oh, Tommy John. It's like, oh, Glenn Otto, you gotta start some games for us. But obviously, I don't think that would be the case. What's up, Samuel Patton? Build Chris Young a statue right now. Don't get too ahead of ourselves. Don't get too ahead. Let's win a World Series. Let's get to playoffs first. Let's get to the playoffs first, and then I think if he wins a World Series, then we can start talking about statues. But if for all the MLB owners, sorry, that watch my channel, if you want to have a, how do I say this? If you want your team to start playing well, just get a good general manager, and boom, yeah. Uh, Monique loves to Mets fans right now. Very rude. They're not happy about this. Honestly, like if I'm living in New York and I'm a Rangers fan, I would not be telling anybody I'm a Rangers fan. Like you could probably die. Like on the subway, it's dangerous on the subway right now in New York, as it is. Like people are getting thrown into the rails. And then if you say like you're a Rangers fan and they're salty as heck right now that deGrom is gone, you might get thrown into the rails while the train is coming. Yeah. Could you imagine what the Yankees are gonna do when if uh what's his face Judge goes to the Giants? Because I think it's 50-50. I think 50 chance he goes to the Giants, 50 chance he stays with the Yankees. It's just gonna be crazy. How about Brandon Nimmo? That he could be a decent option. He's one of the best center fielders in the league. It's just it doesn't seem like it would fit for the Rangers. He is also another guy that's injury prone. He balled out this year, so he's going to get a big contract. I wouldn't quite rule it out because I wouldn't really quite rule anybody out, but it just doesn't seem like a signing that fits the Rangers, if that makes sense. Because, like, yes, he would be better over Leody Taveras, but I think they're just worried. I guess you'd have to give up another pick, and you would have to. He's injury prone, but Jacob deGrom is injury prone. But the things I've been hearing is about Mitch Haniger, but you can't really rule anything out. But Brandon Nimmo is an elite. He's elite, but I don't think you would sign Nimmo to play left field. So would you trade Leody for a left fielder? Because I don't think we're running Josh Smith at left field. I don't think I really addressed that well. So basically, I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't think there's a high chance of us getting Brandon Nimmo. From Sean, this is the time of the year Rangers fans get happy. As of like 2 years in a row. I mean, I remember 2020, our prize signing was trash Kohi Arihara. I think we got him on Christmas actually. It was like, yay, our Christmas gift, Kohi Arihara. We signed him for $3.5 million from Japan. He's like, oh, maybe he can be a Yu Darvish, and he you don't even want to talk about it. Like you want to wish guys the best, but you also, as a fan, you want to see your team win. And the other signings, let's see. I remember Mike Minor was our top signing. Obviously he did some nice things, but this just shows you like how the mindset of the team has shifted. But that 2020 season when we knew it was like, oh sheesh, this is gonna be a bad season. It was like Kohi. We got Nate Lowe, which was nice, but I think there was one more signing I can't. Oh, it was David Dahl. Looking back at it now, we probably should have gone after Hunter Renfroe, but can't win everything. I mean, at least we got a silver slugger. From Sean, the Rangers need a 1 or 2 year guy that's not too expensive. Carter had great potential. Don't feel like blowing 10 to 5 years for Nimmo while Carter is being wasted. I guess you probably mean for center field or maybe left field, because if you're talking about left field, then definitely Mitch Haniger could probably fill that. And yeah, Evan Carter looks legit, guys. I think he won a Gold Glove in the minor leagues. He's raking, and he's going to be close to the major leagues. More comments from you guys. King Twister, there's a lot of lefty outfield this year, free agency. Yeah, so I don't know all of them off the top of my head. But right now, I wouldn't really worry about the matchup per se. I'll just worry about like getting in like a guy that can help us day in, day out. So for like left field, obviously there's Haniger. Who else? I'm really drawing a blank right now. I've thought about trading for Alex Verdugo, and I know that might be like, what the heck are you thinking about? But I think his production won't be as bad next season, so that could be something to think about, and you save some money and maybe use that as a platoon option. Because Mitch Haniger won't be expensive per se, but he won't be cheap. That's right. We still have Garver on the team, which is kind of weird to think about because he's been a really good productive player in the past, but it's kind of like, oh shoot, Jonah Heim balled out at the first half, falled off at the second half. He's probably going to be our starting catcher. Maybe Garver does half time, like backs up Heim, but is also the DH. Yeah, and I'm sorry guys, I really forgot. I forgot Garver was on the team. And I know that's bad as the Rangers reporter, but he's just kind of there in my opinion. But I know he's a good productive player when healthy. And I think his arm was, or whatever his elbow injury was holding him back this year. But that's right. So I take that back. I don't think we really need to. It's probably just the outfield that we need to address because we do have Garver, unless they want to consider trading him. Garver has shown in the past to hit from both sides, but he crushes lefties more. From Samuel Patton, trade Smith, Foscue, win for Pablo Lopez. I think that could work. I don't want to trade Ezekiel Duran, and here's why. Duran is really fast, and I still think he can. I still think he can hit. Think about it, we called him up from Double A last year, and he did decent for his like brief showing, and then he got exposed. I think he's so young that you still need to give him some time to develop. And if you put him in center field, I think he could be an above a solid defensive center fielder. And if he doesn't really tap into that hitting potential like we thought he would, I think the defense and the speed could still allow him to be a productive player rather than putting him at a position like third base where you're kind of expected to produce a little bit more with the bat. But baseball is kind of shifting to where like it doesn't really matter what position you play. You don't always have to produce with the bat at each like position. Like for instance, IKF didn't really produce with the bat as long as he provides something. But what I'm trying to say is that like I think his talents could really suit center field. So I don't think he has the best reactions. That's the reactions for the hot corner. But I think his athleticism could be best utilized in a center field role. Why do I keep forgetting Garver? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, guys. I forgot Garver was a Ranger. So at least I wasn't the only one. Thank goodness. I don't think Texas cares about losing draft picks right now. The deGrom deal shows that they want to win now. They'll worry about 4 years from now. True. And also, if I feel like there's ways to get around losing draft picks. So you could still think Nimmo is on the board, maybe Rendon, but those guys probably not. But you never know. You never know. But if you look at last year's draft, we didn't have a second round pick. We didn't have a third round pick. But we were able to still sign 2 first round caliber talents. So it shows that you can finesse your way around the draft. And usually in drafts, like second round picks, third round picks. Like maybe they pan out, maybe they don't. So the Rangers were able to finesse their way, get big league caliber all stars, and then use their first round pick on a stud, but also use their fourth round pick on a guy that is projected to be a stud as well. So it's kind of finessing the system, and maybe they could do the same thing again this year. Go under slot and then go over slot in a later round, and so then you get deGrom, and then you get the guy that's drafted a little high in the first round, but then you get a faller, but you save that money, and then get like a first round, second round caliber guy. Samuel, it's going to take more than that, I think. Throwing Acuna, Harris Zavala, I don't know. We'll see. Thank you all for watching the live stream. Make sure to like, subscribe. And again, I appreciate it. Then grinding essays, finals in like 2 weeks, no, a week. Oh my God. But getting this content out. deGrom pulls a Kluber, I think I'm done. Don't mention that. Don't mention that. I throw my camera out the window. Cause actually, when we got Kluber, I was hyped. I was like, holy crap, we got Corey Kluber, the 2 or 3 time Cy Young Award winner. This kind of feels the same way. I mean, but when we got Kluber, we knew that he was injured. Like we really traded nothing for him. And yes, I know Clase is an elite closer now, but when you trade a relief pitcher and a 4th journeyman outfielder for a starter, you know there's going to be risk. And Kluber, I don't hate him. It's just like if it was a shortened season and stupid COVID, if he would probably still have been able to pitch in a regular season. But it's just how it is, boys. And girls, if girls are watching, I don't know. But Kluber has actually been pretty productive. Even after that injury, he had collecting a 3 WAR season with the Rays this year. I think he'll get a nice contract this year, probably the last contract he gets in his career. But risks GMs have to take, but I don't think this will be like the Kluber situation. There's a lot of injury-prone players this free agency. Yeah, there definitely are. Sean, it's possible that I'm not going to think about that tonight. David Navarro, what's up? Let's sign Waka for 1-2 years. I don't know about Waka. His baseball savant metrics aren't that great. I think he might have been aided by a really insane, what's it called? Cardinals defense, because you have Tommy Edman, Nolan Arenado, Goldschmidt. So I think he might have been aided by that. And you go to Texas. I'm not saying we don't have good defenders, but our defenders aren't the best. We got Lowe, who sucks at defense. I think he can still turn it around. Simeon is a Gold Glover. That's good. Actually, our outfield is actually pretty good at, really good at defense. It's just our infield that's shaky. We don't really know how Josh Young is going to be at third base. I think he was average in the minors, but it's just like how will his shoulder hold up, blah, blah, blah. And then Seager's been average to below average his entire career at defense. He actually clocked in pretty well defensively this year, but who knows how that will continue to hold up. So I don't know if Waka is my guy. If we want to go, I think if we had a list for free agency, it'd be Senga, because I don't think Rodon is really an option right now. Okay, he's still an option, but is he really realistic? I don't think so. Okay, so just putting that out there. And then going lower, I would look at Jameson Taillon. I think he's a reliable guy. I think that'd be a similar contract style to Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn, Mike Minor, etc. And he can give you innings. And if you look at a trade, I would look at Pablo Lopez. I would look at Brandon Woodruff. And yeah. For Sean McNeely, CY was not getting outbid this week with long to the ends. Yes. Yeah. Bro, uh, Ray Davis told him, he's like, bro, make a move. And then Sai is like, you thought these, you thought these were, you thought these were good moves getting Colton Wong and okay, Brady's actually a good move. I mean, those were both good moves by the those two respective ball clubs in our divisions, getting Wong and Brady. Let's not get that wrong. But who's the better player? Yep, that's hilarious. Oh, and then we got the Mariners fan. Go. Who invited the Mariners fan? Come on. Uh, Happy holidays. Yes, happy holidays and safe travels to wherever you guys are going. Um, yeah. Sean, what do you think Michael Waka would cost? 12 to I think Waka would be around the 10 million range. I don't think probably 10 to 12 million. I don't think he would go up to 14 just because he kind of had this oh shoot, my bad. Waka pitches for the Red Sox. He doesn't pitch for the Cardinals anymore. So that argument is mute now about the defense. But it's still his baseball savant metrics aren't that good. And he wouldn't be the first guy on my radar. If we signed him, I'm not griping, but I don't know if he really moves the needle for us. Yes, he had a nice ERA. I know that it was in the threes this year. But I don't really know if he moves the needle for us. Because is he better than John Gray? I don't think he's better than Martin Perez. Probably better than Rizzi. But I think if you're the Rangers, you're not trying to add a fourth starter to rotation. Because when it gets to the playoffs, you're not really using the fourth starter. It's usually the 1, 2s, and 3s. So I think if you're the Rangers right now, you'd probably want to add somebody that could be a 2 or a 3 in your rotation right now. Because I think as it sits, obviously deGrom, no doubter. I think John Gray or Martin Perez is up for debate. And then right now, you could say Rizzi just because he's on the roster. And then after that, it's whoever. The Rangers need to sign bullpen arms. I think one could be realistic. We don't usually give a lot of money to bullpen arms. We signed Garrett Richards, and usually it's a lot of minor league contract deals. Look out for a trade potentially with the Detroit Tigers. I've heard like they actually have a lot of good relief pitchers for a really sucky team, and I think they're going to fire sell. So look out for Joe Jimenez, maybe Alex Lange. Those are definitely some guys to look out for. From Sean, I think I would take a flyer on Gallo. The shift ban will help. He has a great arm, obviously, and the upside is pretty good. Not my first choice, but if Henniger or other options don't work, interesting. I also remember Michael Conforto. So I would kind of put Conforto and Gallo in the same boat because Gallo just had a crappy season, but also Conforto missed an entire season. So it's like, how do you evaluate those contracts? If you look at SpotTrack.com, it says Michael Conforto is projected to get around 20 million. I think that's total garbage because it also said Jose Abreu was projected to get 8 million, and he gets 18 million average annual value for 3 years. So don't believe that crap. I mean, some of it's actually decent, but Michael Convertico could be interesting, but he hasn't really hit lefties well either. The thing about Henniger, he has hit both lefties and righties. It'll be interesting to see how the outfield breaks out or pans out. Yeah. Senga was my other option, but can we afford him plus a left field bat? Yeah, we can. We can. Let's see. I think right now, even with the deGrom signing, our salary is around 140 million. Let me double check just so I'm not talking out of my butt right now. But just go with me. If it is at 140 million with the deGrom signing, that's not Oh wait, hold up. But we also added Martin Perez, so maybe it's pushing 160. Let me look up on Spot Track real quick. But let's just say in the range of 140 to 160. And I know Ray Davis said we will spin this year. Obviously, we just spin on what's his face, deGrom. That is great. He did say that we weren't necessarily going to spend as much as last year, but I do think that means in the whole entirety of the contract and not necessarily in the average annual value. And last year it was $500 million. So this year we've only dished out 185 million. So right now our payroll for this year, oh wow, it's 148 million. So it looks like I do know what I'm talking about. Not to toot my own horn, but Jacob. Okay, so looking at it right now, it's Corey Seager at 35 million next year. Jacob deGrom 30, Marcus Semien 26, Martin Perez 19 and a half with a qualifying offer. John Gray with 15, Jose Leclerc 6 million, Brad Miller 4, and Jaco DeRizzi with the 2 million. I really hope we can somehow find a sucker team that we can trade Brad Miller to, and they eat his entire contract. I really don't know, but we were able to somehow trade crappy Colby Allard for Jaco DeRizzi, a productive MLB player. Nothing like deGrom, but we got a starting caliber pitcher. So maybe CY can just put some magic up his sleeve. Chef CY. So answering your question, we do have the money. So if you say we get Haniger, 15 million a year, that puts us at roughly 175. And then let's say Senga is 20 million, that's 195. I think that is relatively decent considering all the other teams' salaries. Hello everyone, Dakota Belcher, what's up? deGrom had yep. David Navarro, Conforto over Gallo, and Gallo over Conforto. He can reach triple digits with that heater on his. Yeah, I think you're joking, but I mean, obviously he can reach triple digits, but I think you're just being funny. But the thing with deGrom, he really only uses 2 pitches, which is his fastball and his slider. I know he has 2 other pitches as well, but he has pinpoint accuracy, which is insane. He makes some of the best hitters in the league look stupid. I wouldn't even want to imagine what it is like to hit against Jacob deGrom, but I'm glad he's on our side, if we're being honest. deGrom, a fastball could use some work, but he has potential. Yeah, I heard this deGrom guy is kind of good. The fastball is reaching triple digits, and he has a decent slider. So hopefully the signing can pan out for the Rangers. I really don't know too much about this Jacob deGrom guy, but from what I'm hearing from you guys, it seems like there's some potential. So it'd be nice for another breakout candidate like Nate Lowe. So maybe I'll put him in my potential breakout candidate video. I'm just kidding, guys. Pick off baseball. I'm so happy, bro. Yeah, me too. Sean McNeely, is that 148 including deGrom and arbitration? No, good question. So, wait, is that hold up. Let me do. I don't know if that's including arbitration, but it is including Jacob deGrom. But arbitration shouldn't be too expensive. Let me add up the guaranteed totals real quick, and then we can figure it out. So it's 35 million to deGrom, 30 mil to 35 to Seager, 30 mil to deGrom, 26 to Marcus Simeon, 19, roughly 19 and a half to Martin Perez. Good job for Martin Perez. Like, I used to be super stingy about like giving money to players, but I realized I'm not the guy giving the check, so I don't care. And it's good that he was basically able to quadruple his earnings for a guy that he grew up. He was our guy. He was, you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say. Okay, so to answer your question, I added up all the totals and I got 137. So that does include arbitration. Dakota Belcher, I would try to get Daniel Vogelback. Okay, Vogelback is an interesting guy. He crushes right-handed pitching, but the New York Mets traded for him last year from the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they just picked up his club option, and I don't think they're trying to let go of him because he's only coming in at $1.5 million. So I don't think we will necessarily get Daniel Vogelback. Do the Rangers need a closer? I think so because theoretically you could use Jose Leclerc or Jonathan Hernandez, but those guys haven't had the best success as the closer. Leclerc did, but that was a while ago. I think it might be best for those guys to just have the setup role after coming back from Tommy John and find somebody else. Maybe trade for Joe Jimenez. There's still some relief pitchers on the market. There's a Kenley Jansen. I really don't think the Rangers would spend that type of money. I don't know if there's really anybody on the farm system right now. I know Yeri Rodriguez showed some signs last year, but that was super brief. I think the route, if the Rangers wanted to get a closer, I think it'd be more of the trade route. I don't think they'd really be dishing a lot of money for a relief pitcher because Chris Martin just got $8 million average annual value. So I think somebody similar would be Adam Ottavino, who's pretty old, would probably get $8 million as well. They had similar seasons. Hernandez and Leclerc could be a lethal duo. From Teflon Breed, what's up? Do you think that what Nate Lowe did IB August was the real him, or was he just hot at that time? Good question. I do think that is the real Nate Lowe. Well, okay, how do I say this? I don't think that entire month you will see. I don't think you'll see that entire month of Nate Lowe every single day, but I think the entire season of what we got from Nate Lowe is truly Nate Lowe. I think he is one of the best first basemen in the league, and I do think he will go down a little bit next year, but I do think we've had ourselves a good trade with the Tampa Bay Rays. Velo doesn't matter as much as people make it seem. I mean, Porter also throws 100. DeGrom Armstrong run with triple digits with a 90-mile slider is just not fair for hitter for his elbow. From Dakota Belcher, for everyone, do you think the Rangers should go after Daniel Vogelback? Sean McNeely. All right, guys. So this has been a really good live stream, and I really appreciate everybody that has joined, celebrated the signing of Jacob deGrom. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any more last second comments, make sure to get them down right now so I can hit the last second buzzer beater comments. Yeah, I do have to get to bed because I kicked out one essay today, so give me a thumbs up for that because I'm always on the school grind. I passed my classes, and then I have one more essay to kick out tomorrow. So I got to sleep, get my body well. It was nice to be on here for an hour, give you guys some content, give me some interaction. And who knows? There might be another signing tomorrow. And then I'll be like, oh crap, gotta do another live stream. But yeah, I like I said, I definitely wanted to keep. I need to figure out my college schedule first, how to manage work, and studying, and then I was like, okay, once I get a handle of this, then I can start bringing it back. Verlander to the Rangers. So yeah, like I said, thanks again, everybody, for watching. It's been a really good live stream, and I'll see you all in the next one. Everybody, comment Jacob deGrom if you like this signing. Peace out.